Welcome to Master the Word, the show where we dive into the lives of biblical characters and uncover lessons that still speak to us today. I'm Rocky.
And I'm Merlin. And today's episode? Buckle up. It's about Abraham, one of the most extraordinary people in the Bible. Some call him the father of faith, but if you ask me, he could also be called the guy who packed his bags without asking for Google Maps.
That's true. Imagine moving your entire family without knowing the destination. No GPS, no Google Earth, just pure faith in God's promise.
That's what makes his story so inspiring. It's filled with twists, challenges, miracles, and even some human blunders that make you go, yep, I can totally relate.
So let's rewind to the beginning, Abraham's early life.
Abraham, originally Abram, grew up in Ur of the Chaldeans, a wealthy city in modern-day Iraq. Picture glittering temples, bustling markets, and a lot of idol worship.
Kind of like living in a city where everyone's glued to their screens, but instead of smartphones, it was statues.
Exactly. And right in the middle of all that, God had an extraordinary plan for Abram. He wasn't the obvious choice, but that's the point. God often calls people from ordinary places to do extraordinary things.
Which leads us to that jaw-dropping moment, God's call.
God tells Abram, leave your country, your people, and your father's household and go to the land I will show you.
Translation, pack up, hit the road, and I'll tell you where we're going later.
Talk about the ultimate trust fall. And the promise that Abram would become a great nation and that all families on earth would be blessed through him.
And that's not just history, that's the heart of faith, stepping out when the future isn't clear.
But of course, every road trip has its adventures. Let's follow Abraham's journey.
Abraham travels, sets up altars, worships, and keeps moving. Kind of like a build an altar, pack up the tent, keep going routine.
Some key moments: the covenant with God, the birth of Ishmael when Abraham and Sarah tried to help God out with his promise, the miraculous birth of Isaac, and Abraham's bold intercession for Sodom.
You know what I love? His prayer for Sodom shows that faith isn't just vertical, between us and God, but horizontal, caring deeply about others too.
So true. And yet his journey wasn't smooth sailing. Let's talk about the bumps in the road.
Abraham faced famine, family drama, hello Lot, and serious doubts.
And don't forget the ultimate test, God asking him to sacrifice Isaac. I mean, that's intense.
Totally. That's faith at its rawest. But Abraham also had his weak spots, like the Hagar incident. Sometimes he got ahead of God's plan.
Which is oddly comforting, right? Even the father of faith had faith wobbles.
Exactly. It proves God works through imperfect people. And that brings us to the core of who Abraham was, a man of faith.
Abram's faith wasn't passive, it was active. He prayed, interceded, obeyed, and trusted God in ways that still inspire us today.
And that's why his story never gets old. Faith is more than just believing. It's stepping out even when you don't have the full picture.
Which brings us to his strengths, the stuff that made him stand out.
Obedience, courage, faithfulness, and intercession.
He's like the original superhero of faith, minus the cape.
Yeah, but let's be real. Every hero has weaknesses.
Abram's mistakes, like impatience with God's timing, remind us that even giants of faith stumble.
But here's the good news. God's plans don't collapse because of our mistakes. Instead, he uses them to shape us.
Which is exactly why Abraham's life is so relevant today. Let's pull out the lessons for us.
Lesson 1, faith requires courage.
Lesson 2, obedience often costs, but it's worth it.
Lesson 3, God's promises may take time, but they never fail.
And lesson 4, our weaknesses don't disqualify us. God's grace is bigger than our flaws.
That's worth an amen.
Abraham isn't just a big deal in Christianity, he's foundational in Judaism and Islam too. His legacy literally spans nations.
And some fun facts? He lived to 175, his descendants were promised to be as numerous as the stars, and he's mentioned more than 300 times in the Bible. That's more cameos than Iron Man in the Marvel movies.
And yet, it all started with one step of faith.
Abraham's story shows us that faith, courage, and obedience can change history.
And it challenges us to trust God, even when the road isn't clear.
Thanks for hanging out with us on Master the Word. If Abraham's story encouraged you, hit subscribe, share this with a friend, and keep growing in faith. Until next time, walk by faith, not by sight, and may God guide your steps.